All right, it's the Night Watch Expressions and live in the studio. We also have a good brother, Kamau Abayomi. How you doing, my brother?
Good, man. How you doing?
Excellent, excellent. I'm sitting here looking at your website here, and look like you got a lot going on there, brother.
Yeah, there's multiple modalities on there.
Modalities, huh?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it, because I know you got the your a lot of creativity there, and want to thank Versandra Kennebrew for kind of connecting you. And first, let's back this up. Whoop, 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 whoop. Back it up. Tell us the story, how you met Brother Kamau.
Well, you know what we do. We are out in the community all the time, connecting with individuals who are doing dynamic things. And with the Health and Healing Chronicles, our goal is to just bring awareness to the healing arts and various things around the healing arts that support people who want to live optimally, but they don't necessarily know how to make that happen. And so through our health coaching, our workshops and training and everything, we are able to get some of the best right here on our show so that we can introduce them to the world. Some people haven't heard of them before, and although Kamau is an international healing artist,
all right.
And I'm making sure I put the healing in front of the artist because we know that it's all one.
That's right.
Because art is time, and time is art, and art is healing, and healing is art, and it's all that.
Right.
And so I just happen
music
to
is a healing
definitely,
art.
Most definitely. So I happened to meet up with a brother that we interact with on social media. We know we love social media. It helps us to get connected with people in the real life, real world. And I hooked up with Jason. We were just having a conversation talking about, the healing arts. And he mentioned that his brother, Kamau, was coming in town from Bali, Indonesia.
Okay.
And he was telling me that this brother is hot. He has it going on. He's a poet. And of course, I went online. I started looking around. I'm like, wait a minute. We need to have him on Night Watch Expressions. And so here you have it.
And that's Jason back there that you're talking about.
He acting like he don't want to get up here to the mic, and we trying to get him on the mic. But he's like, listen, I want my brother Kamau to shine.
I got
so
you.
This is his time to shine, and it's all good. It's all good. And so here we have it. Yeah.
Peace.
Yes.
Indeed. Well, glad to have you here, brother, on Night Watch Expressions to give an expression on Night Watch Expression. Right?
Wonderful to be here.
And give thanks to our good brother Jason out there. All
absolutely.
Right? We'll get him up here on the mic in a minute, get to breathe on us a little bit.
Yeah, you got to put a little breath there. Yeah, so we were just having a little conversation right before going live on the show, and Kamau was telling me some amazing things about his work, and not just his work currently, but his background and where it all came from. And I like to go back to the roots.
Okay.
We like to do that because we know that the fruit comes from the actual, the roots that are down in the ground, and then the trees that come and sprout up, and then you got the branches and everything. And so Kamau is just a part of the branches that come from the tree of his mom and dad. And we just had a little discussion about that. His mother was really into the arts, and she was a musician and all that kind of good stuff. And then his dad loved the arts as well. And what happens after that? Wonderful Kamau comes.
Yeah, that's the simplified version.
That's the simplified version. Well, you know what? We want you to tell us more about the details to that story, because our listeners like to know about who they are actually listening to. And you can give them some insight, because they might hear your music, and if they're on our Facebook page, they're already listening to some of your music, but they want to get the backstory. So tell us a little bit about that backstory.
Well, Yeah, like you said, my parents were very active in the Bay Area, San Francisco specifically, arts community.
Okay, okay.
And I'm a '70s baby, so there was some consciousness flowing through the art at that time, and we were much more unified in terms of when an event happened, we all came out for it. So, particularly with the theater arts, whenever there was a black production that came to San Francisco, because my mother was deep into that, because she wrote a publication that would review shows that came in town, and interview artists and these different things, as well as being a high school drama teacher, as well as mentoring people like Cindy Herron from In Vogue, and, having friends like Danny Glover and all these people. Anyway, when a show would come to town, the after party would be at my house. So all these different artists, I was a youngin', and all these different artists would be in the house. I got old pictures of Samuel Jackson drunk in the living room. Like, for real. She was, because it was tightly knit, so when there was one thing, everybody came out to support it. So it was, people knew each other, right?
True.
And so I was nurtured in that type of environment. And even though, also along with that, she would also have me going on different auditions for commercials or TV shows. And my first play, the first time I took the stage, I was 5 years old in a professional production.
Wow.
This play called Dream on Monkey Mountain that was at the Lorraine Hansberry Theater in San Francisco. And I was 5 years old. It was the first time I took the stage. And then I got into skateboarding, and I didn't care about any of that anymore for about 8 years or so. And then come high school, I got back into it with writing, writing raps, and from raps into poetry. And that developed as as that got deeper, I started just studying more. The more I studied, the more I wrote about what I was bringing in and how I perceived the world. As my perspective changed, it just went into what I was writing. And so eventually a friend invited me to a spoken word spot. Then I started sharing in spoken word. I also was into dance in high school and whatnot. So just any avenue in which I can express myself, I was diving into it. And it just never stopped. You feel me? It just only got bigger and bigger.
All right. So how does Bali come in? I know Versandra is doing an event.
Yeah, in the fall we're doing the Art of Touch retreat in Bali, and so it was just showing how small the world really is. And as I was looking on his Facebook page, Jason told me he was from Bali, but I was like, wait a minute. I looked through and I saw some of his friends, and I'm like, wait a minute, I see people I know. And come to find out, they used to be housemates, you said, at some point in time. So, yeah, it's a wonderful thing just to see that the world is much smaller than, some people think.
Much smaller than people think. And it's like it's an interesting story how I got out there, because it was not in the seen world, it wasn't planned. In the unseen world, it was definitely planned. But I was in a bookstore one day, and this woman came up to me, and she said, "You have some strong spirit guides around you, and they're telling me to talk to you." And this bookstore was it's an occult psychic type of bookstore that has literature. That I was getting some items from a shrine I was making at my house at that time. And so I'm already aware of this type of vibe, right? So when she came up, I wasn't tweaked out or anything, but still I was wondering, I was like, does she want some money, or you know what I'm saying? Because she handed me a card, and the card was like, it says she was a clairvoyant and does tarot readings and stuff. And at the time I had never done any tarot readings, and but I thought, man, she wants some money, she's just coming up. But then as soon as I had the thought, she was like, don't worry about money, this is really important. And so I was like, okay, cool. So we met the next day, and among a whole lot of other different things that we spoke about, she said that I would be coming into some money soon, and I would be doing a lot of traveling. And she mentioned Australia, and then she mentioned this word Derek. And she didn't know what that word meant. I didn't know what it meant, but she said, this is what they're...
again?
Derek.
Derek?
Derek.
Derek.
Yeah. She didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was, but she says this is what they were showing her to convey to me. So after that particular session, I went back and just did a search online for what that word was, and it turned out to be an Aboriginal tribe from Australia, and what is now Sydney was once their land. And so okay. At this time, it still didn't. I had no relevance for it. There was no connect, right? But then a couple months later, I did come into some money enough to allow me to travel wherever I wanted to go. And so I was just like, all right, I'll go on a little adventure and go to Australia just to explore whatever that's about. I have no idea, but I'm gonna go see.
Yeah.
So as a birthday present to myself, I booked a ticket to go to Thailand because I love Thai food. And then I was like, I'll go to Thailand, and then I'll go to Sydney and check out what's going on. And then I'll go to Fiji and come back to San Francisco. And when I was booking my ticket, my travel agent, she was like, you know, if you want, you can have an extra stop between Thailand and Sydney, as long as it's along the same route. And that's how I found it. I did a little search, and that's how I found out about Bali. And so I went to Bali, and Bali ended up resonating with me the most out of that trip. And so I went back there again 2 months later. And when I was in Bali the second time around, like the clairvoyant was really on point, because when I was there, I got an email from a friend who I known from high school, and she's Japanese American, and she was working with this organization that's based in Japan. And she was like, hey, we got this program that we want to bring 4 artists from the Bay Area to come go on this tour starting in Japan. You want to go? I was like, yeah, I want to go. And it's a trip because it's dealing with manifestation in the sense that I had a sense earlier, like a couple months earlier, I was like, at some point I'm going to go to Japan, right? I had some friends who were going. I was just like, at some point I'm going to go. So I enrolled in a Japanese language class to get a head start. I was like, I don't want to go there and be lost. So let me enroll in a class
and
now.
And you're planting seeds.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, right? And so it was right on time, because I finished that course, and then I enrolled into another course to learn some of the writing. And it was when I was in that course is when I got that email from her, and she was like, hey, you want to go? I was like, that's how it works.
Answer said, you ready now. You done got the language. You can write. You can read.
Right.
Well, I want to know how you were able to use what you learned in the class, because in Japan, it's not that simple with the language. I mean, when I went to Japan, there's like so many different versions of the Japanese language, to where, like, if you're speaking at a certain time of day, the words change. When you're speaking to a person of a certain age, the words change. And it's like, wait a minute.
It's not that complex. It's just in the sense of, it's just levels of politeness.
Yeah.
You know, and the same like our language. You wouldn't go to somebody you never met before and be like, yo, what's going on? Well, some people might. But if you're being respectful, you wouldn't do that. You say, how are you doing? You know, how you doing? You
but I want to know the
basic
thing, just so that I can, kind of maneuver. And it was like, we don't have words like that.
So I mean, they have that. The writing has different systems. So there's 3 different writing systems.
Okay.
But the language is the same. It's just different levels of who you're speaking to. If you're speaking to elders, you speak one way. If you're speaking to your friends, you speak another way. If you're speaking to, you know what I mean? That's the only way it's different.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So I want to make sure that we let our listeners know. We talked about the fact that you are into art as far as the poetry, the written word, the spoken word. You're into art when it comes down to dance. Let us know about some other forms of art, because as we were talking, we were just talking about you being an overall creative being. I mean, you touch into the arts in various platforms. So what other forms of art are you really known for, or that you enjoy the most, because it's really about your enjoyment?
Right. It's not necessarily there's any one thing that I enjoy the most. It just depends what wave is coming up and what element is that I'm in to express. So if, like, my primary element, if I were going to say a primary, would be the written and spoken word, just because that's what I dived really hard into first. But at the same time I was doing that, I also dived into dance.
Yes.
And so I love just to express myself. So if I'm going to go out dancing, then I'm going to dance. If I'm going to I'm going to touch the mic, then I'm going to touch the mic and bring whatever. If it's a rap thing, I'm going to rhyme.
Right.
If it's no beats, no music, then it's going to be more spoken word and on the poetry tip. If I'm going to write, depending on whether I have a beat or not, depends on what comes out. You feel me? So I mean, I wrote a novel. That's what you was just looking at.
Okay.
And I wrote a novel before I wrote a poetry book.
Wow.
Like, I've been writing poetry for over a decade since high school, but I had never written a book, like compiled it into a book. But then I wrote a full novel before I even did a poetry book. So it's just kind of what comes is what comes.
Right.
And the same process when I create. So I also throw events like in Bali. Big reason why I stayed there so long is because I started working with with some youth over there. And like when I got there, the second time I went, I met some cats who was just b-boying on the beach. Like they had the full radio station truck out, some DJ in it, had an Indonesian cat on the mic, blah 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 blah. They had the black and white checker linoleum on the ground. It was full, like it could have been, 20, 30 years ago or something. They was doing it on this beach in Bali, right? So I went and I was watching, and they could see that I was just in the culture. I was in the vibe. So they're like, yo, share. So I grabbed the mic and I was spitting, right? And I wasn't even heavily into dancing. I kind of moved out of dancing more into rapping at this point. And this is 2003, right? And so I joined in, and then after that session, they were like, yo, come with us and hang with us. So I hung with them, went into the little town. They did another little show. I was like, oh, Bali's got some it's not just the own traditional, so there's also some city culture that's going on too. So I told them when I come back, I'll bring some DVDs that you can get the documentaries about b-boying. You can get the history about what's going on, and just to share the information. And so when I did return, I returned to for 5 months because like I said, I did a whole lot of traveling, and during that travel, I went to India to attend the World Social Forum. This is with the Japanese organization, right? We ended up going to India and participating in the World Social Forum in 2004, the top of it, and it's a week-long forum that brings NGOs and nonprofits from all over the world together to discuss issues, to hold workshops and presentations. There's lectures, there's speakers, there's a whole lot of great music, documentaries, the whole thing. And so after that week, I went back to the Bay Area, and it was the day after the Super Bowl when Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson had that whole wardrobe malfunction thing, right? And not only that, but then Bush had just got reelected for a second term, and I just had a reverse culture shock. I was like, what's wrong with this place? Why is all of this? This is the biggest thing. They got people who are fighting for water, they got where a certain, like Coca-Cola's taking over someone's water source. You got, Tibetans fighting for their life, for their land and all that, so to go from that and back here and have this be the focus, this whole, nonsense, I was just like, I gotta go somewhere else for a little while, So I chose Bali. So I did a whole year of runs, and actually the last city I came to before I went to Bali was Atlanta. And so anyhow, I went to Bali, and then I started just kind of naturally working with these youth. And then as time went along, it just progressed, and then they got me back into dancing. And I started DJing when I went to Bali because I brought a lot of music, and at the time CDJs had just came out, so I had a whole lot of CDs, and I had music that people weren't really playing, so I could expose people to new sounds or whatnot. So people were inviting me to start to do little events and stuff, so I started doing that. And then from that, I would bring in the local b-boys to come in and dance. And as that developed, it turned into working with them on choreography and how to perform and how to present the work so it's professional. And it just kept developing and developing over time. I eventually joined a band, was touring with a band for 2 years, going to other cities, other countries, and getting contracts and playing in these different places. And every time, every time I would return to Bali and then continue working with their brothers, the locals who were there. And from that, it just became direct when I decided to just base up in Bali and just work with them directly. And eventually they became the first Indonesian b-boy champions as the dance grew in Indonesia. And so they set the bar for b-boying for Indonesia. And it's a trip because out of all the different crews around Indonesia, and there are a lot, we're known for having a solid foundation and hella style. We got more style than anybody. Because I told them if that was whack, I let them know, hey, no, that ain't how it goes. Each one of my crew, they got a real original, flavorful style. That, and when you look at some of the other crews, they could be dope, they could do all the moves, but it just don't look as good as when we do it. We could do simple stuff and it look cool. So that's what really kept me out there for so long. And it's just a sharing of the words, of the music, of the dance, of all of it, because all of it is really just one aspect of the creative process, which all of us have. Like, I'm a person who really adheres to the principle that every single person is an artist, whether they realize it or not. It's just we live in a society that suppresses that knowledge, and so we don't activate it. But if we can activate it, then we can discover how we can heal ourselves, because we just tap into the creative process that exists within our own bodies, within our own spirits, within our own minds. As those combine, then we just take ourselves to a whole nother level. And that's just the nature of creativity in itself. That's how suns come into being. being. That's how galaxies are created through these processes. The same thing exists within us. And so I can't not express. It don't matter, if I just can't not do it.
Exactly. We are creators. That is absolutely the truth. Now, I just got to put this out there because it is my my friend Jocelyn who is in Bali, and you did say that you guys lived together at one time. Now she has some serious art going on too, and dance with the hoops. So did you have any experiences with her and her hoop yogini?
Yeah, she's dope, and it's funny because we were housemates, right?
Yeah.
And then they have this thing that they do in Bali every year called the Bali Spirit Festival. It's like one of the biggest festivals in Bali, and when we were, I think it was before we became housemates, but we were both at that festival, and we had our events, like our workshops, at the same time. So I was doing a house dance workshop, and she was doing a hoop dance workshop, and we were right next to each other, right? And so the music that she was like, yeah, because the music that I was playing for my house workshop worked for her hoop dance workshop. So, it was like, so it worked. It was cool. We became friends, and there ain't too many black people in Bali, so
That's
of course
what
we
She kept telling me, you gotta come here because there's really not that many people of color here.
Well, I mean, Balinese are
Yes.
you mean black people specifically,
Yes,
because
yes.
Indonesians are people of color.
Well, yeah, we don't call each other
That's right,
black
get it
around
right.
here.
African
Yeah.
descent.
Yeah.
There aren't people.
Melanin dominated people. That's what they are.
Whatever. Yeah. I just say we all creators. I like that one.
Yeah, I can roll with that.
I like that. Well,
Now,
listen.
underneath us is a tune by you, and I thought it was appropriate because of the things that you were doing. It's called Bind and Unite. Tell us about that.
It's called Bind and Unite. It's a song I wrote, or co-wrote with my homie Anderson Thomas. He's a singer-songwriter, and so we collabed on this. He played the acoustic guitar. I helped him write the chorus, and I just wrote some lyrics for it. I never wrote a song strictly to an acoustic guitar. Like, there's no drums in it. It's just the acoustic guitar.
Wow.
And it's about relationships and how we confuse love, sex, and the word I don't want to say on the air. We get them all twisted up, and then that's where all the root of a lot of confusion is. And so this song is just about unraveling into what is it really like to bond and unite, on every single level, and doing it from a pure place.
Absolutely. Let's hear a little of that.
So come and sing with my soul through the night. Our bodies twist, yeah, they flow so divine. Whether we fly by the dark or the light, we come together, yeah, we bind, we unite. Yeah, we bind, yeah, we fly, we unite. We bind, yeah, we fly, we unite.
Love is love, sex is sex. Fuck twisted up. The latter is the lower, mostly done not sober. With selfish composure, climax no holder. The middle is the riddle where insecurities fiddle. Do I trust? Should I stop? It feels good. Am I hot? The former is the form, hard to find in the norm. Understanding beyond form, or real is adorned. When it flows, we can sex without question, no guards for protection. The essence, it flows through sessions. Positions will shift. No bad, no struck. Love conditions the bliss, even if we uninhibited rawness, the flow never stuck. When we kiss, when we squeeze, how we lick, how we suck. How our eyes lock together when you ride, when I thrust. How our souls converse, how we find when we trust. We combine with the urge to escape from the crust of the earth and rebirth our divine body church. The choir sings climax, instruments of lust played by the full band, love in flux.
So come and sing with my soul through the night. Our bodies twist, yeah, they flow so divine. Whether we fly by the dark or the light, we come together, yeah, we bind, we unite. Yeah, we bind, yeah, we fly, we unite. We bind, yeah, we fly, we unite. Mars
and Leo, Venus and Cancer. I'm a freak and a smooth romancer. How you speak is a mood enhancer. The groove in your voice, the soothing of choice. The blues of dancers dissolves as we hoist. The bloom enchanters, evolve free choice. Passion advancers, lips full, lips moist. Kiss wet, lick neck. We connect in grandeur with a glorious manner. Living the stories of answers that are married to questions. With hypnotic suggestions, erotic confessions. Ironic the blessing when we let love lead and lust floods the session. The drug of essence. Inhale when the soul speak and plug direction. When sail when the soul speak. Ride the waves to the peak, and keep to the next peak. Technique so unique.
So come and sing with my soul through the night. Our bodies twist, yeah, they flow so divine. Whether we fly by the dark or the light, we come together, yeah, we bind, we unite. Yeah, we bind, yeah, we fly, we unite. We bind, yeah, we fly, we unite. So won't you sing with my soul through the night? Our bodies twist, yeah, they flow so divine. Whether we fly by the dark or the light, we come together, yeah, we bind, we unite. Yeah, we bind, yeah, we fly, we unite. We bind, yeah, we fly, we unite.
Kamau, sound like you lived that, brother. Now, you wrote that piece too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I write it.
You was working that, bro, even the lyrics. So you right on it.
Right on, man.
Tell us about the acoustic player. How did y'all make that connection again?
Just Bali is a very international place where a lot of people come, particularly for healing and transformation and to take themselves onto a new path. Like, just because the nature of the Balinese culture, their spirituality is completely infused in their life. Mm-hmm. So many people go there for healing. You know, there's a lot of healers there who directly work with people to work through whatever issues they're working through. And so with that, you also get a lot of travelers who just traveling, and artists, and Anderson was one of those artists who came through for a little bit. And yeah, we just connected. He had a cool vibe going, and we were just chilling at his spot one day, and he was like, let's just work on something, let's write something. It's like, all right. So we sat right there and worked on a chorus, and he came up with the chorus for it, or the keys or whatnot, or the chorus, and I wrote some lyrics, and it was simple as that. And then we went to the studio and recorded it, and yeah, it was done real quick. You know, wasn't no whole lot of effort at all.
All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Something about.
Yeah.
Something about.
I'll definitely go in deep on this one.
We got Kamau, y'all. Abayomi. Bringing us art, life, evolution, huh?
Yes, sir.
There's something about you, lady. Clear through a day so crazy. Baby, you a fine line walker, no hasty. Patience with a feather on your crown, you place me in a situation where a puzzle with no name. Manifest the blessings of divine, growing pains. Beauty how you like when it's least expected. Only see the hearts of the beast rejected. Oshun give it flavor so the people accept it. I Facebook it, Twitter connected. They took it, lived it, injected. In the veins of mainstream collected. Change the mainstream addictions. Game that rains out prescriptions. Detox the thought box and listen. Rock and lock thought the mission. Here we go. Something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. My heart almost feel opposite the feather. Still kinda heavy with unbalanced weather. But when I look in your eyes, you make me wanna achieve. I'm meditating on the life in the light, I deep breathe. sight the deep seas, we dance the waves, and then we dive into the love that enhance the days, advance the stage. Your feathers are rougher, massage the essence, anise and honeysuckle, buckle the belt, Orion overseas. Understand the signs that align with Giza. No believer, girl, you gave me the truth, gave me the roots. No chasing after spooks on some duck goose. It's fuck, oh, divine love on a Thursday. Jupiter sing, I can hear what the words say. Expanded sky blue, like peas, like zoo. Lead by Lakshmi, cause girl, you're true. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. Crown girl, third eye wide, we can shoot the town girl, shoot around worlds, loop the sound pearls of wisdom through my system as we flute the sound curls. Number 9 is summertime, and every time you walk in the room, boom, you're dumbfounded. Soon to combine the heart with the mind, sparks so alive, bright and growing the moonshine. With you in the incline, you must stay fine. Sword on my back, we unsheath the slay time. Advance to the future in the moment of now. When we channel the love, we know how. Style gets placed in this context. We're feeling a bomb sex. All up in the knowing as we flowing and what's next. No one with no text, no tweets, no speech. All up in the all as we go deep, goes real. Something about you. Something about you. You're the one flowing through my whole being. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady. There's something about you, lady. Something about you, lady.
Kamau Abayomi, bringing the energy you represent for Hip Hop Appreciation Month. I like that, brother. Good track too.
Yeah.
You know, tell us about that track.
Right on. That song is Something About You is really a song that is an ode to the divine feminine within my own being, and specifically the essence that deals with divine order and divine balance, harmony, abundance, pure, true love, that aspect of my being. So it's a song dedicated to that. In ancient Kemet, they called that Ma'at.
That's right.
And so it's a song dedicated to that energy. And it's one of my favorite songs out of my whole that I've ever written. I love that song. Like, it's lyrically. I don't know, that final verse, man, I'm always lit when I listen to it because there's, I don't know, not many people, there's a 10-syllable rhyme scheme up in there. If you're technical about lyrics, there's a rhyme scheme in there. Yeah. And with subject matter, that's the thing. It's not just
I was about to say you bring some depth, man.
Bars,
you bring some depth and some substance in the lyrics. I'm listening.
I can't not, man. It's about that. You feel me? It's like there are a lot of talented folks, a lot of people who can rhyme really, really well. For me, it's about rhyming really well, but also having something to say, something to present that people can have, be benefited by, not just rhyme for the sake of rhyme. And look how dope I am. I mean, we've got 40 years of that. 40 years of it. So let's show how dope we are and also show how dope everybody is and show how we can benefit, how we can use the art as a healing tool properly. I was watching this clip on a Facebook that was going through. Apparently it's going viral. This kid made a song and the video clip is dope. I was like, how creative is this child? Like, he's some teen kid. He used his I don't know if it's Snapchat, whatever the little things they use on the phones, whatever the youngsters use, he was using that. He made a dope video with it, and it's all like selfie stuff, and I was like, whoa. But I had to listen to it on mute because the lyrics was just so, like, why is he talking about, why is he talking about that? Like, I mean, he's a teenager, so I can give it a little bit of a pass in a sense of immaturity, but still, it just makes me think about how much of our creativity goes towards negativity. How much we're so dope at creating stuff that is negative. Let's be just as dope at creating something that is beneficial and positive, you know, and that can bring balance back to the situation. I'm not eliminating none. People do whatever they do and express how they feel, but express the totality of our community. We don't just express one aspect and say that this is what it's about and this is how everybody should get down, because that's not real. That's not true. You know, there's a whole aspect. There's beautiful people sitting in this room. I've been in Atlanta for the last couple of days, and I see nothing but beautiful people everywhere. So how can all this beauty and then all of the music is sounding like so destructive? All of it.
That's imbalance, isn't
it? That's big imbalance. You feel me? So there's something going on that's hidden that people don't know about, that is controlling that is dictating what music is going out there. And so I'm all about artists who got something to say, and for me to be that way, I have to be that way. You feel me? And for me to be that way, I got to study myself. I got to study life, and I have to live my life as best as I possibly can and maintaining that balance. You feel me? So yeah.
All right, we feel you. It's WRFG Atlanta, and on the other side of these announcements, we'll have more from Kamau. 404-523-8989. You want to call? Drop us a line. Connect with our good brother. 404-523-8989. WRFG Atlanta.
It was a horrible, horrible thing, that 1917 fire.
The tragic 1917 Great Atlanta Fire started on May the 21st, 1917. 2017 then marks the 100th anniversary of this terrible event. The Atlanta Fire of 1917 destroyed 1,938 buildings, wiped out 300 acres of real estate, and left more than 10,000 people homeless, almost a tenth of the city's residents at the time.
As the wind would blow the fire and the smoke and the flames, it would leap from one house to another. And it was just gradually coming on over in our direction, and that's when we were instructed and kind of ordered to move on out.
This coming Sunday, May 21st, Fox's Minstrel Show from 7 to 10 p.m. with its host Harlan Joy will play a recording of the event that includes those who were alive during the fire.
We proceeded on, wandering through the streets, not knowing where we were going because everything was in flames. There was nowhere to go. Everything was burning.
The recording is a production of WRFG from its Living Atlanta research project in the 1980s. We will also be sharing the recording next week on various shows, as well as offering the recording to listeners for a donation of $50.
All that's been rebuilt now, and you will go through that area, you'll never know that they had a terrific fire in 1917.
This program is brought to you in part by RGB Alliance, presenting the Conscious Reggae Concert Series. On Friday, May 26th, the series presents a live performance by Ija Noah and Brappe with special guest artist Endelai. The show is hosted by WRFG's Cherise Nicole and music by Highlander Sound. All this takes place at Wild Pitch Music Hall, 255 Trinity Avenue, Atlanta, 30303, downtown Atlanta. Doors open 9 p.m. Showtime 10 p.m. Tickets available at Eventbrite. For more information on Ajanoa and Brap Band on Friday, May 26th, 678-887-9126 or on Facebook, Conscious Reggae Concert Series Global.
I'm Coach Versandra Kennebrew, Atlanta's favorite holistic health expert. Tune in to The Witch Doctor, Wednesdays from midnight till 3 a.m. on Night Watch Expressions, WRFG Atlanta, 89.3 FM.
The Coalition presents the African African Liberation Day, ALD Coalition presents the African Liberation Day 2017. Our theme is African Youth Organizing Against Settler Colonialism and Neocolonialism from Congo to Standing Rock and Palestine. This year's commemoration covers 2 days, Thursday, May 25th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., and African Liberation Day International Symposium at Auburn Avenue Research Library, 101 Auburn Avenue. Saturday, May 27th, 2 to 5 p.m., African Liberation Day Rally with youth presentations, art projects, and high-flying rockets at Omenala Griot Museum, 337 Dargan Place. We will discuss global Pan-African strategies and international solidarities to end foreign settler occupations of lands in Africa, Asia, and the Americas, and ridding ourselves of leaders who betray the interests of African people from Atlanta to Accra, from Port-au-Prince to Bahia. For more information, sobukwekwamba@yahoo.com. That's SOBUKWEKUUMBA@yahoo.com. 404-732-3446. Another public service announcement brought to you by your listener-sponsored and supported community radio, 89.3 FM, your station for progressive information and quality handpicked music.
Giant retailer Walmart has been criticized for decades for its low wages and breaking of labor laws. It has been sued numerous times for discrimination and wage theft, paying out millions in settlements. Despite producing record-breaking profits every year for the corporation, thousands of Walmart workers receive federal and state assistance for food, health care, and housing because their paychecks aren't enough to meet these necessities of life. Yet the Walmart Public Relations agencies produce TV ads and newspaper articles extolling the pay raises, education benefits, and health care insurance the workers all have, so they say. On Friday, May 15th, Atlanta will be visited by the Walmart Truth-Telling Tour, hosted by the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, with support from the Atlanta, North Georgia Labor Council. The real story of Walmart workers, no alternate facts here, will be told at 2 p.m. in the parking lot of the IBEW building, 501 Pulliam Street, Atlanta. For additional information, the number is 678-714-3497. This public service announcement is brought to you by your listener-sponsored and supported community radio station for progressive information, 89.3 FM, WRFG.org.
Jam this a rhythm na the ghetto tonight. Ghetto tonight, the ghetto tonight. Jam this a rhythm Akhenaton and WRFG radio. Friend Amalekai aka T-Jack say, this is the vibration, the solution, this is the expression. Na 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 na.
404-523-8989. Kamau.
This style is great, compiled in the mind of the student of faith. Illuminate the path as the words take shape. Arrows pointed at my dome, this way to escape. Time to fly again, shine to find again. 3 solid lines, each chain with the pen. 3 broken lines bring balance to the session. The reception, take your weapons, battle 3 broken lines. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Freak the speech, bring heat to the people. Unique be the people, regal be the motions. Be the clouds, the raindrops, the whole damn ocean. Pacific, Indian, Atlantic and such. Surf my thought waves, gigantic plus. Like Adam magnified, inscribed on the walls of Kim and my chemistry forces me to defend it. Soul over matter when the spirit and flesh blended with purpose off the surface, researching ascension. My wings seen flames in the name that glow. They trying to live forever while I died 3 days ago. I be the weather in the room after blazing, roll F5 high in the bunker with amazing smoke. Amazing grace take shape and it's lacing folks. Box smoke, screen hold, get a taste of hope. Oh, here we go. Hit the streets, make it so. Got a whole lot of words to shout. Pull up by the time, throw a motherfucker. Oh, here we go. Hit the streets, make it so. Got a whole lot of words to shout. Pull up by the time, throw a motherfucker. throwing the rope, never throwing a towel. This land quicksand, commanding 10 scams, programs, suspense, transmissions, and conditions of fear with a price tag. Cheers for the right path. Walk the walk, we talk the talk. Rise and shine, people revive the clear thought. Critical minds reverse pitiful times, expose suicide lives, make habitual crimes. Habitual designs and rhyme to find the best possible outcome. Never be outdone, know that we outgunned, history outrun. Don't wanna repeat, mystery spout wrong. Tons of group souls sprung from loopholes. Lighthouse shine on the cliffs of pure gold. Lift the adrift from the hole, the hypnotist. Return to flight status with wings of a realist. Oh, here we go. Hit the streets, make it so. Got a whole lot of words to shout. Pull up by the top, throw the fuck up. Oh, here we go. Hit the streets, make it so. Got a whole lot of words to shout. Pull up by the top, throw the motherfucker. Oh, here we go. Hit the streets, make it so. Got a whole lot of words to shout. Pull up by the top, throw the motherfucker. Oh, here we go. Hit the streets, make it so. Got a whole lot of words to shout. Pull up by the top, throw the motherfucker.
That's Kamau, y'all. we got through that one, right?
Where's Dr. Eddie?
Yes, we are having a ball live in the studio. WRFG 89.3. And you know what? We love to do live performances here on the Night Watch Expressions program.
That's right.
So our brother is ready to pull something out of his hat. And before he does that, I want to give Jason just a moment to
he's got to breathe on the mic. He's got to breathe on us. Hit the ethers. Hit the ethers, brother.
He got to do that and do a little intro. I mean, you are the one that is the cause of this connection here. So give us a little something.
I'm shy. I'm playing. What's up, everybody? This is Jason Harrison, live and direct.
What's up?
It's an honor to be here, my man Kamau. You know, I met this brother in Bali, and I was amazed. I saw him perform live a couple of times.
Okay.
And I was just blown away. I was like, wow, and when I see another artist get busy like that, it inspires me,
Right.
because I'm an artist. So when I see someone shine that brightly, I don't get jealous. I get inspired.
That's it.
So we connected, and we talked and we built, and it was one of those situations to where I was able to connect with another brother. There was never no ego conflict type of energy. We both had mutual respect for each other. Absolutely. And at the time, he didn't even really know I was an artist. Really, well, I think I shared some music with him in Bali.
Okay.
And then he showed me, gave me props, and we're talking about eventually doing some music in the near future at some point in time.
So you was in Bali too?
Yeah, I was in Bali for a month, man. 2 years ago, I went to Australia for 3 months. To work with some clients, and I took a vacation, went to Bali for a month, and that's where I connected with Kamau.
That's what we do, right?
And that was actually my first time leaving the motherland, so it was very outside of my comfort zone, but it was a beautiful experience for me to leave the mainland rather, not the motherland, the mainland, and get that experience and soak up that different energy. And Bali is such a beautiful feminine energy, man. For creatives, it's perfect because as we all know, the feminine energy is the creative energy.
That's
when you're in that environment, it just brings something out of you. It just increases that creativity. So I had a wonderful time, and I definitely plan on going back. So my man was coming to meet me. I met with Versandra because I'm coming on the show.
That's right.
Next month.
I was about to say, you got to come.
I'm coming. Yeah, I got something to talk about next month. But I said, my man is coming in, so I think he'll be a good fit for the show to come on, and and do his thing. So I'm just here to support.
All right.
That's
all right,
some good
Jason.
stuff. See, that's what I'm talking about. Healers know how to make that kind of work happen.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's not about no kind of ego trip. It's
Right.
about, what are we all extending out to humanity?
Right. And we all have a unique footprint, of what we bring. Yeah.
It's enough room for everybody to shine.
That's how expansive the creator is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I absolutely love that. And let's just go ahead and get that, what are you going to present to us right now?
I'm going to do a piece Y'all got a taste of a few of the rap songs. I'm gonna do a little spoken word joint.
Okay.
It's an older piece that I wrote in dedication to my father after he made his transition. And it's a piece that it deals with the after this physical life. And at the particular time during his transition, I was studying out-of-body travel and having experiences of my own. At the same time, he was, dealing with prostate cancer and this stuff. And even though he wasn't necessarily practicing, but the family was Catholic. Like my grandparents on my grandmother's side, they were Catholic. And even though he wasn't practicing that, but then in times when you're thinking about, death and the cycle of life, then people tend to default to whatever their religious upbringing was.
True that.
And so I would go visit him when he was in the hospice, and I'd show up and there'd be a Catholic priest there, and I'd wait for the priest to leave, and then I would go in and just, start speaking on other options.
I hear you, man.
And so this particular piece is in alignment with that.
Oh, shit.
If imitation is the highest form of flattery, then embodiment is the highest form of worship. My knees would whisper that to me when I was little before I went to bed, but I was more concerned if my soul would be taken if I died. But now I know I'm the soul controller, and I can pray in a club conversation or meditate in a dance hall while they must bow their heads and call on a dead man's name, and the game continues. The food on Spirit's menu is organic and astral, but most have forgotten the astral and say organic is too expensive, so their thoughts never stray from the safe way. And what they produce has been genetically altered to not have seeds, so there is no growth in thinking the safe way. Forever depending on what status quo say, the game continues. The more out the game I get, the more truth I step into. My body is the venue. My artist throwing the party and the chakras are spinning. Look into my eyes and see them dancing. Remember the rhythm you heard before you had ears. Remember the movements you made before you had legs. Remember the place where thought and action carry the same definition, and the word age is non-existent. The place where you set the conditions and chose your mission and chose your region and chose your planet and chose your city and chose your parents and chose your gender and chose your race and chose your sexuality and chose to forget that you made all these choices. I told them I heard voices in my head and they called me a lunatic. Actually, I'm a sonatic. My favorite voice speaks every single day. Its radiant silence is adultery and seduces my spirit to rise above the tides of my temple. I am all set as my lover. She rides me well. I'm coming to a greater understanding of self, a greater understanding of experience, a greater understanding of freedom. Beyond bones and flesh, I no longer believe, have faith, guess. I stare down in my face, yes, I know I'll exist after death. And I'll stand before pearly gates. As they open, some big booming Morgan Freeman type voice will be like, welcome my child. I'll smile and respectfully decline. My spirit is touched beyond heaven, there's a grander design. That voice will be like, hell is the only other choice you have for yourself. And as I float up and away, I'll say heaven and hell only exist for those who can't perceive anything else. And a few spirits standing outside the gates will begin to rise and follow me out of curiosity. And curiosity can never kill a cat who knows he cannot die. Just as conformity can't sit with those who see the lie. And a few spirits inside the gates will begin to rise and follow me out of boredom. And we'll rise up and we'll rise up and we'll rise up and rise up and rise up. And all of this is just a future deja vu. That moment begins with this one, a moment of rising up. But it's not rising up against anything but one's own inspired thoughts. Void to the relevance of a paradigm shift. A shift to the conscience that recognize we don't get free, we just be free. The greatest trick the devil pulled was convincing us someone else holds the key. As a woman knoweth, so she be. As a child showeth, so we'll see. All these infinite possibilities to explore. All these infinite possibilities to explore. all these infinite possibilities to explore. Choose the magic door.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah.
Wordsmith Kamau.
Peace.
Chopping it up. Tell
yes,
you.
Yes. That's the good stuff.
Gravy.
Yeah.
That was awesome, brother.
Yes.
Gravy.
We are so grateful. We're so grateful to Jason. We're grateful to
big up.
The ancestors, the powers all around that drew this whole everybody here into this space. This is really, really a powerful episode of Health and Healing Chronicles and Night Watch Expressions. So thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions for our brother Kamau before he leaves the studio, you can pick up your phone and dial 404-523-8989. Again, that number is 404-523-8989. And if you are online and you want to drop us an inbox, if you've got a question or just something you want to say, please do so now, because he will be leaving the studios to try to get a little rest before heading out to Chicago. And that's what's
I was
next,
about to
right?
ask,
Chi-town.
Yes, that's
so
what's next.
You getting ready? You out of here then?
Yeah, tomorrow.
I was trying to make. I was trying to make some other. I was trying to make some other arrangements for you. You know.
Yeah.
But I feel I'll be back.
All right. Well, that's a good feeling, and we get you connected.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Get you connected with some of the other shows here. Get some daytime connection here at RG. And we're gonna also put your music on in our playlist,
yes,
in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes. But we definitely want you to tell our listeners about where you're headed tomorrow, because we do know that our listeners are tuning in worldwide. And so if we have people who are in the Chi-Town area listening right now, we want them to be able to help big up where you are headed and make sure that they are in the audience.
Okay. Well, I'll be driving up to Chicago tomorrow. I got meeting some folks tomorrow. We're gonna swoop up and do a little road trip and ride up to the Chi.
All right.
On the Saturday, I think it's Saturday the 20th. That's a Saturday, I think. Saturday the 20th. First in the AM in the morning, I'm going to be doing a Qigong workshop. I practice and I teach Qigong as well.
All right.
If you don't know what Qigong is an internal martial art. Most people know Tai Chi. Tai Chi is an aspect of Qigong. Qigong is essentially energy work and learning how to move energy through your body through movement and breath practices. And so I'm going to be doing a workshop on that in the morning.
Awesome.
And then later on in the evening at this place called the Silver Room, I'm going to be doing what we're calling a soul-tastic sermon, which is an ecstatic dance. And for those who aren't familiar with ecstatic dance, the format is that it's a dance meditative journey. It's not a party per se. It is not an event where you come to meet somebody in terms of, hey, let's go kick it and dance and then go out and do this. It's not about that. It's about coming. You don't say any words on the dance floor to anyone. You can sing, you can shout as the energy comes, but it's not there for conversation. There's no alcohol. You take your shoes off. You're barefoot on the dance floor, and you get open with the music. It's only an hour and a half, so it's going to be a journey through a variety of different tempos, different genres. No genre lasts more than 15 minutes, and we switch it to something else. There's a lot of instrumental music, and all the lyrics that'll be played will be uplifting music and stuff that can get you open and to release energy and to build energy and to grow and cultivate with. And so it's a really focused dance session. So I'll be doing that. It's going to start at 8 o'clock at the Silver Room, and that's in Chicago on this Saturday. That's the 20th. And then on the following day, I'm doing some stuff with Stacey Patrice. If you're in Chicago and you do yoga, you probably know Stacey Patrice. She's the Oprah of yoga up there. And we're collaborating and doing a workshop together that's geared towards people who are interested in learning more about gods and goddesses and what this terminology means and how that reflects in our relationships or doesn't reflect in our relationships, and how we can just expand and develop, from a more expansive perspective. Yeah. And so we're going to be dialoguing about that. The specific location I can't tell you right now. So you got to go to my website. I'll be putting that up probably tomorrow when I get the information from her. I also, my website is www.kamauabayomi.com. So you can go and get some info on that. Also on Facebook, if you just go to same Kamau Abayomi, I'll have information on there as well about where that location will be when that happens. So I'll be in the Shy until Monday. And so if anybody is listening and you in the Shy, you want to hook something up for Thursday or Friday, I'm open.
Absolutely.
You'll be there, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you for that. And once again, share your website and your Facebook. And since we're not on live TV, and give the benefit for people who are more visual.
Oh,
so let's kind of, yeah, exactly.
Got you. For sure. So Kamau Abayomi is the name, and pretty much all my media is just my name. So it's Kamau. Last name Abayomi is Abayomi. That's Kamau Abayomi, Kamau. Abayomi. And on Instagram it's the same, on Facebook it's the same, on my website. So
brand that.
It's all the same. So also, I don't know if y'all got listeners in New York too. Y'all go that far?
Oh yeah.
You on the internet?
So you
got people listening. Y'all mentioned Australia, didn't you?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So after Chicago, next Monday I'll be flying to New York. So I'm looking to do some stuff there. Stuff is getting organized as we speak, so hopefully when I get online later I can find out exactly where I'm going to go down. I'll likely be an ecstatic dance as well, but again, I'm open, so if somebody is listening, just shoot me a line. So I'm down, and even if it's just a build, that's really what this whole thing is about, just to build a network and meet with people. And I would love to rock along the way, and I've been doing I'll be doing some stuff in the Shy, and when I go back to the Bay I'll be doing a lot there, but it's really to network and to meet folks who are like-minded, who want to expand, and particularly expand beyond the confines of any one particular place, because now is the time to go global. If there ever was a time, we need to think internationally. We have our bases, we have our places where we do work, where we go to assist our peoples, but we also have to think outside of here and start setting up places outside of here, because we live on a planet and there are a lot of places that would welcome us.
That's right.
There are a lot of places that could benefit for what we have to offer. And so it's good for folks who do have something to offer to start thinking globally, start thinking internationally, because it's needed and it's necessary, and you will be welcomed.
Absolutely. And we do have one of our listeners who had a question for you. She wanted to know, where can she find the lyrics to that piece that you just did, the poetry piece that you just did live?
It's on my website. So on my website I have a page for all of the different elements that I represent. So I have a poetry section where it has some of my poetry, so you can go to the poetry part on my website. If you want to hear some of the songs I was played, just go to the rap section. It's called Real Rap, and just click on that and you can go there. If you want to, I also wrote a book. It's a thing when you do a lot of things, sometimes you can forget to mention certain things. Like I wrote a novel, and you can also go to the novel section, and if you want to download it in ebook format, I have it in ebook format.
Okay.
And you can download it, or if we connect somehow, I can give you in the physical as well. Or if you want to order a physical, that's okay. But basically everything is on my website. Not everything. I have a lot of new stuff that hasn't been uploaded.
Okay.
But that particular poem is on my website.
Beautiful. I like the website too. How you got that organized.
Very nice.
Oh, thank you, man.
User friendly.
Yeah, that's right. That's key.
Yes. Well, it has definitely been a pleasure, and we thank you so much for coming and gracing the studio here at WRFG.
Indeed.
Your listener-supported community radio station. This is how we do it.
That's
here
right.
in the ATL.
Your station for progressive information and hand-picked quality music.
For sure. Can I give just a quick shout to Atlanta, just for being Atlanta, and for the history of just greatness that's come out of this particular part of the planet. and particularly, of course, the great, the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King. And it's beautiful to be in the hometown. And we just went by his area where his church was the other day. And we went to the salon. Was it the Madam C.J. Walker salon?
Yeah.
We was trying to meet his homeboy.
Reese. Yeah, he's a historian when it comes to music.
Okay.
So shout out to Atlanta. Yeah, shout out to Atlanta. Y'all are beautiful, and Outkast is my favorite group of all time in terms of hip hop music. So big love to Jason for being a gracious host.
Yes,
the entire time.
Indeed.
All love.
Looking forward to you, Jason.
Oh, yeah,
Coming
I'll
forward.
be back for sure.
And thank y'all for opening up the mic for me to share.
And just keep in touch and make sure you feed us with new stuff
for sure.
that you bring and letting us know what you do. All right.
Cool.
So may you prosper.
Thank you.
So you can continue prospering us in what you do. All right.
Yes, sir.
Keep the love.
Yes,
Versandra.
this has been an extended version of Health and Healing Chronicles on Night Watch Expressions with your favorite holistic health coach, Versandra Kennebrew. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we are out.
Hey.
We who rest on the principles of divine law or the activity of I am are made new again, strengthened, and empowered. As an eagle with keen sight and supernatural power, we rise up from the ashes, from the illusions of despair and chaos. Free from thoughts of material lack and limitation, we run, but we don't lack energy or become tired. We walk, but are never worn out. So when the illusions appear to be more significant than the truth, rest on the actions of I am. When your mind can't seem to stop racing, be still and know. Take slow, deep, cleansing breaths. Feeling every cell within you with the divine breath of life. Be made new again and again by the infinite wisdom that created everything around you in the beginning. But don't rest too long. Healing and restoration is instantaneous when we believe the spiritual principles of divine law. And the greatest of these is love. Rest in love. Be renewed by love. Be strengthened by love. Rise up in love. See the eyes of love. Feel with love. Touch with love. As you allow love to fill every inch of your being, you realize nothing else but love ever existed. Everything else is merely an illusion. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31.
Versandra Jewel Kennebrew, be renewed by love. And thank you for your, do you have anything else you wanted to share for Health and Healing Chronicles?
Well, you know, we have
Let's chronicle
so
some
much.
things.
We have so much that's going on in the community. So I really invite our listeners to visit our Eventbrite page, vki.eventbrite.com, to learn more about the Art of Touch experience that will be coming up very soon at Phoenix and Dragon Bookstore. And then we do have a retreat that's coming up too, Ignite Your Imagination Retreat, and that will be coming up in July, and it's going to be at Phoenix and Dragon as well. And earlier today, I secured the location for our next instructor training program, which is for individuals who would like to learn to teach the art of touch for enhanced intimacy and communication among couples. And that is our biggest project for the year. So if you go to our Eventbrite page, vki.eventbrite.com, you will be able to see all of the events in and around the Atlanta area as they come up. So